Hi, welcome to the zoo, and we're your hosts, Caitlin.
And Josh Zaniga. Yep, we're back. Time for another episode. What's new?
I mean, it's bloody hot, I'll say that, in Utah. It's like Satan's furnace up in here.
Yeah, we recently, for Zunex, for our knocking team, we had this thing called Hell Week, where they knock from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. every day for a whole week. And they take like 15, 20 minutes for lunch. We picked the wrong week to do it in. Because it was really hot. It was like, it's been in the hundreds a couple times recently, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a good week though. They completely shattered like our records for the office. Mm-hmm. They were like selling in the upper 60s and mid 70s, like as far as like that's how many accounts we were adding per day. Things have been going super well with us at Zunex here in Utah. It's a new market. I do feel like people are starting to get tired of door knockers. Now that Hell Week is over though, things have slowed down a little bit. But just like a business update, things are going well. You know, I think that we're going to reach our goals. I'm super happy with how things have gone, both on the operations side and on the sales side. Like there's always hiccups and learning experiences, things that we can improve on, but overall things are going really well. And I do think that what took us 3 years to build in Seattle's taking us 1 year to build here in Salt Lake. Salt Lake will be the same size as Seattle by the end of the summer.
That's honestly crazy in one summer.
Like we've done it with relatively little hiccups. Like there's things that can always be improved on. You know, overall, I would give my operations team like an A.
That's incredible. Yeah, I was shocked to see how many reviews you guys have now.
Yeah, we also have 640 something reviews, which is I think it's pretty wild. Like a lot of companies don't invest in that or really care. Mm-hmm. But
do you feel like that makes a huge difference though?
It definitely does with search engine stuff. Like when you're Googling things,
yeah,
it helps with your SEO. And I just think of it as like a competition. If I'm looking at a market that I might want to open up in, I look to see how many companies are there that have more than 1,000 reviews. Because typically a company that'll have 1,000 reviews is a multi-million-dollar company. Because it's not easy to get numbers of reviews. You have to have customers to do it from.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I am just astounded at the work everybody's been doing, and holy crap, just with how hot it's been too. Like they're grinding. So I haven't been in Utah for a hot minute though in the summer, and you haven't been here.
I've never been. I've always been somewhere else knocking.
Yeah. So for us, I was just like, and I'm pregnant too, but just so shocked at how hot it's been, honestly. Like, I think I'm ready for July to be over. But we're kind of more of a fall Halloween family. So I'm like already itching for the fall and Halloween stuff. But mostly just because I know it's going to be getting closer that I'm not pregnant anymore. So
when it comes to Halloween, what are your favorite things about Halloween? Because we both agree that it's our favorite holiday. But what is it that you like about Halloween?
I mean, I just like the spirit of Halloween, the time, of just... not even like the dressing up and trick-or-treating, but just like the traditions, and like caramel apples and going to pumpkin patches and I don't know, just
pumpkin spice everything.
The crispy air. Yeah, the pumpkin spice everything. And the weather's really good.
We weren't really here for a big chunk of October this last year.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like that?
Oh, for sure.
In here?
And then, I have so many good memories of going up the canyon. We should do that this year and just do, bonfires and just have, a little picnic and s'mores. We could even do that this summer. I feel like a lot of people do that during the summer, too. But
why do you think Noah likes Halloween so much? Because he's, obsessed with everything Halloween.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's just not a super scared toddler. I think he just likes spooky things. He thinks it's funny. And intriguing, maybe. I don't really know. Mm-hmm. But well, I guess sometimes at night he'll say, there's a monster in my room, or there's a ghost.
He's been saying that there's a monster under his bed recently.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited, though. anyone that knows this company because they were on Shark Tank. Yeah, Shark Tank. And it's called Rags. I think it's Rags to Rages, something like that. But it's a Utah company. And she was like the first company that started the romper that's just like the one piece for kids.
I don't like rompers.
I think they're cute. But I got us all skeleton outfits for Halloween this year from Rags. They're so sick. Like Noah's is glow in the dark, which I think will be so cool. And then ours are just like sweat outfits. But I think it would be so easy and fun if we just did that as costumes. Like, I mean, we can see what we want to do, but since I'm pregnant,
I thought we were going to.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I don't know if Noah's going to be down. He probably would be though.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't be.
Like just being pregnant, I feel like that would be like the easiest and most comfortable costume ever. So,
what are your favorite Halloween movies? Here's the scenario: I'm home from work. The night air is crisp. Leaves, like orange leaves, are falling from the sky. It's nighttime. The sun's going down. And Noah's magically asleep. I had a good time, and we get to watch a movie. What movie are we going to watch?
Oh, man. I feel like, gosh, why can I not think of my favorite Halloween movie right now? You go first.
Do I get a pick, or do I have to pick one we both like?
I mean, no, what would you pick right now?
I would probably pick something horror related because I love horror.
But just pick like a thriller.
Not so even in my fantasy, I don't get to pick my own movie.
Okay, fine, whatever. live out your fantasy, bro.
I have to compromise.
Oh my gosh, you know that I'm not gonna like it, but you know, it's all good.
I would probably watch the Nun too, the second Nun movie.
Oh my gosh,
or anything that like from the Conjuring universe. I love all the movies that James Wan has like been a part of producing or directing or involved with. That guy's just like a horror genius. Now, when it comes to horror, I have opinions. So I do not like the slasher, nasty, gross, like nudity movies, like Freddy Krueger kind of stuff, where just a bunch of like hot college chicks that are killed and you see their boobs. Like, not down with that.
Dude, kill me now.
I like things that are like scarier and more like ghost related, witch, demon, like things that as an LDS person I probably shouldn't like. things that my grandmother would say drive the spirit away. But hey, I don't know, that's what I like. But my very first, have I ever told you the very first scary movie I ever watched?
The Ring?
No, it wasn't The Ring.
What was it?
The very first scary movie I ever watched, it was when I was younger and I was going to go visit my family in Chile. And I was sleeping in my dad's old room. My dad wasn't there yet. And I was just flipping through the channels, and The Exorcist came on. And it was like, probably like 11 o'clock at night.
How old were you?
I don't remember. Maybe like 10 or 11.
It's pretty young to watch that, I feel.
Yep, but I watched it. It scared the crap out of me.
That was like your initiation into horror?
That was my initiation into horror. But,
dude.
There were parts of it that I thought were funny too. Like when the chick like gets up and like pukes all over the priest. It looked so fake that I laughed. Like I thought it was funny because it was like this green slime that came out. But okay, so I picked my movie. You didn't pick yours.
Dude, I feel like you're going to think I'm such a pansy and just, I don't even know.
Hocus Pocus,
well,
which is actually pretty valid.
Honestly, Hocus Pocus is always a vibe. But no, I was going to say, I don't even know if you've ever even seen this movie because I don't even know. Did you like Mary-Kate and Ashley, or is that just like your sister's thing?
They're okay.
Yeah. Because one of my favorite movies growing up was Double Double Toil and Trouble, and it's Mary-Kate and Ashley. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my gosh. We should watch it because it's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably say that, or I even liked, me and Zach loved Halloween Town.
Halloween Town was good.
I know it's cheesy though. But yeah, Hocus Pocus for sure.
Okay, now different scenario. Have you locked in your answer?
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
That's your locked in answer.
Double Double Toil and Trouble. Yep.
Okay. Now next scenario, Noah's with us. What movie are we watching?
I tried to watch Nightmare Before Christmas with him, and he liked it for a while, and then he got kind of scared. So I'm trying to think.
The boogeyman is kind of freaky for like a little kid.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. What other Halloween movies? I mean, Charlie Brown Halloween, or is that just Charlie Brown Christmas?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I never liked Snoopy. I always thought Snoopy was lame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was never a Snoopy fan.
What's another kid Halloween movie then?
Let's see. I liked Ghostbusters, which is not like a kid one, but
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say though.
Goosebumps. The show Goosebumps.
Yeah, that is a good show.
Or do you remember that show on Nickelodeon? Are you afraid of the dark? Or are you scared of the dark?
I feel like Zach maybe saw that. I don't know if I ever really did.
Dude, it was so good.
Was it?
Yeah. It was like just creepy enough that it gave you like the chills as a kid, but it wasn't like so scary that you had to sleep with your parents at
Dude,
night.
speaking of the chills though, we were just having this discussion and I was so surprised you had heard that story too. So what book was it where my mom was saying
The girl with the green scarf?
Yeah, like the girl with the green ribbon.
Yeah.
What book was that?
I think that's what it's called.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Dude, my mom used to read some freaky stories and that one really freaked me out.
That one does not seem like a Linda kind of story.
She thought it was funny.
Funny how you were freaked out by it?
I don't know, the whole thing.
Well,
But
tell the premise in case people don't remember.
I feel like you remember better than me.
It's just like this guy and this girl that meet, and he meets this girl. They start dating. She has a green ribbon on her neck that she never takes off, and they get married. And I can't remember how long they're married for, but he's like always begging her to take it off so he can see like what's underneath. And so she does it one time when he finally convinces her to, and her head falls off.
Dude, it's so freaky.
Yeah, it was definitely like a macabre kind of book.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited though for Halloween. This is making me like want summer to be done, honestly.
Dude, it's not an easy thing to, or it's not a hard thing to want when it's like 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, for sure.
I have another question.
Yeah.
What movie have you seen that absolutely like just ruined all scary movies for you to the point where you realize, okay, I can't like watch things like that? Because you definitely have like a line that you can't cross over, whereas I don't.
Well, I will say I like getting my heart racing and I like thrillers. I mean, I told you this, but like my favorite ones in high school were Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf and then When a Stranger Calls. That one was freaky to me because I babysat so much and I was like imagining myself, you know, that happening too. And it was really freaky.
But was that the one that scared you the most?
No. Those are the ones I liked.
Like, which was the one where you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't like this?
It was like teetering because I felt like The Ring messed me up. But then I remember I pranked people like with the Ring ringtone. Like I somehow got the Ring ringtone on someone's phone that I was with after we watched it.
Yeah.
So it was playing, like I called their phone after the movie and it was playing and they were like super, super freaked out. So it was kind of funny to me a little bit. Like I remember messing with people.
Who did you go and see it with?
I don't remember. I don't know. Not sure. Do you remember who you saw it with?
The Ring?
Yeah. Did you see it in theaters?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember though. I don't
Okay.
remember. But the movie that like, other than The Exorcist, the one that like I actually was like physically scared was The Grudge.
Oh yes, The Grudge. That one was terrifying.
Yeah, like I've watched it since and it wasn't like
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but wow, like my heart was beating through my chest.
Dude, you know why?
'Cause
It's because you freaking broke the barrier and you've worked up to like the Nun and all this creepy crap that now you're like, oh, that's not even that bad. That's why.
Yep. But I've never, like up until that point in my life, I don't know that I ever had like an adrenaline dump that big
From The Grudge?
from The Grudge.
Oh, really?
Dude, it's like when that one, do you remember? Like there's this one portion where that little blue kid, he like, the guy or the girl, I can't remember, they're laying down in bed and they flip over, like up the covers a little bit. And the guy and the blue kid's head is just like right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And pulls him into the bed.
Yeah. That part is terrifying.
Dude, that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. But
I was
think,
like freaked out by my blankets for like a week.
I don't know why I'm like, I feel like I'm mixing though. Wasn't it The Ring though, where her hair was like in front of her face?
No, so they both did that.
They both did that, right?
They both did that, but The Ring, she fell in a well and her mom killed her.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Honestly, that movie kind of looks like it takes place in Washington.
True.
Like, doesn't
Washington
it?
is so creepy though sometimes.
Doesn't it? Like,
Yes.
isn't it on an island in the movie, like in Washington?
I'll have to look it up. I don't know. But the reason why I feel like Washington is so creepy is because the sun. There's no sun for so long. And it's so foggy and freaky. And there's so much greenery, you know? I don't know. It can be
I feel like
super
it can
creepy.
it can be creepy, but also like on the fun side of creepy. Like when we went to Forks and it was like that.
Well, yeah.
That was a vibe.
I mean, Twilight is always going to be a vibe, but
Was Twilight your favorite Halloween movie?
no, I mean, it's just classic and nostalgic, you know? Like my mom used to have Twilight parties and like we would just invite so many of my friends over and it was just so much fun. Like
What team were you?
I was always Team Jacob, but that was when I read the books. Like that was before the movies even came out, you know? I just thought Jacob was more fun, you know? And I thought he brought out like a more fun side of Bella. And the way they described him in the book, I feel like he was cuter. I don't know, to me, but I just thought like I would like his personality more, you know? And once the movies came out too, I thought same thing. I would have liked Jacob more, I think. But I feel like Edward is just more like the safe choice and kind of the creepy choice. It's like he's so old, you know? Like it's just weird to me. But yeah, anyways,
Do you feel like he was old and like weirdly possessive?
yeah, like he was so possessive of her, it kind of bothered me a little bit. I felt like Jacob was the kind of guy that you would start out as like a good friend, you know? And then it would build into more. And I just felt like I don't know, but I can see Bella's perspective where it kind of felt like Edward would be like this eternal love, you know, like this deep, deep love. So maybe to her it was like juvenile to be with Jacob. I don't know, but anyways, yeah, I love Twilight though.
Diving into the psyche of Bella Swan.
Yeah, Forks was
Wait, is
super
that her name?
Great. Yeah, Bella Swan. Yep.
Okay.
To this day, I follow Taylor Lautner, the one that played Jacob. He married a girl named Taylor. So they're both Taylor Lautner. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
Taylor and Taylor. And they have their own podcast, actually. And it's pretty good. It's about like mental health. Anyway, just kind of funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because I think his wife was a nurse. And then she's gotten really into mental health too. So anyway, I like Taylor Lautner though. So definitely Team Jacob. The thing that's sad though, I was just thinking, because Robert Pattinson, who played Edward, and then Kristen Stewart, who played Bella Swan, they dated for a really long time after those movies.
She cheated on him,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Like she did the Snow White and the Huntsman. Did you ever see that? Yeah. And the guy who directed Snow White and the Huntsman is the guy that she cheated with.
With her boss?
Yeah. And I could just tell by the articles and stuff, like it sounded like it was so devastating. Like they were so in love, her and Robert Pattinson.
Why'd she have to go do that?
I don't know. But I think she had like a lesbian phase for a little bit. And then Robert Pattinson, I thought it was just a phase. I don't know. I don't think she has a girlfriend now, and then Robert Pattinson is married to somebody else now and having a baby. So anyway, I don't even know who he's married to, but just funny to see where people end up, I guess. Speaking of celebrities though, you know that I love Katy Perry and you know that I love Kesha. So there's like I don't know, this kind of rivalry sort of between Katy Perry and Kesha right now because
Has there been?
yeah, like I was talking about it with my brother because he loves both of them too. And so Kesha came out with that song Pray a while back about her producer. She came out and said had like sexually abused her. I believe just sexual. Maybe it was physical too. So anyway, she cut things off with him. And I think she signed with a different label or something like that. So the crazy thing about it is Katy Perry hasn't come out with an album in a super, super long time. And she's kind of been doing like, I think she did a tour in Vegas and then she was a judge on American Idol, which I think this was her last season doing that. Anyway, so her album comes out in September and she's calling it 143, which she said is like her angel numbers. And I think, 143 stands for I love you. The only single that I'm aware of that came out just barely is called like A Woman's World. And I showed you the music video. But the reason why it's controversial is because she worked with Dr. Luke, the same producer that did that to Kesha on, I don't know if it's the whole album or if it's just that song. It could be the whole album. I'm not sure. But people are saying that it's like super women empowering, the song. Supposed to be like it's a woman's world and you're lucky that you're living in it or whatever. And people are just weirded out a little bit because they're like, Dr. Luke is like a woman not hate her, but like just
A
treated.
woman abuser.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And it feels like Katy Perry's not supporting girls.
Yeah, it makes me kind of sad a little bit, honestly. I don't know.
She's on Team Luke instead of Team Girl.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know if she is friends with Kesha. I thought she was, but maybe she's just looking past that because he's talented, or I don't know. But
I don't know anything about it.
yeah. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of sad, honestly. But it also doesn't surprise me. We had this conversation. I just think a lot of celebrities, I just don't trust. Like, I don't love a lot of people. I don't know. Just as a person, I feel like Katy Perry is a little bit weird.
I think they're all weird.
You know, and I love her music. Like, I just have had a lot of times in my life where I feel like she helped me through things, and I think she has a pretty voice, you know? But anyways, I just think I don't get too attached to celebrities, what I'm saying. But I'm kind of Team Kesha on this one. Mm-hmm. Just because...
I'm Team Kesha because I'm Team Pitbull, and she did songs with Pitbull.
Oh my gosh. You were saying that, did you get tickets to go to Pitbull for some of your sales guys?
No, I got them all for our technicians.
Oh,
so
technicians.
I'm sending all of our technicians to a Pitbull concert.
Oh, okay.
It was between Pitbull, Rob Zombie, and then Lamb of God, which Lamb of God is not like a nice religious
Wait, is
churchy
Lamb of
song.
God rock?
Yeah, it's like really, really heavy.
Wait, is
like
Rob
really
Zombie
heavy.
the same, like rock?
I would say he's hard. He's kind of like older hard rock.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Interesting.
He's some old bangers.
I want to go to Pitbull, though. I think it'd be super fun.
Rob Zombie, the movie, he's directed some horror movies that are kind of freaky. Like, those are the ones that I don't really like.
Dude, you know what it wasn't a horror movie technically, but what was that movie called that we watched on the airplane that I convinced you to watch? And you were so surprised that I liked it, and Brad Pitt was in it? Who was that weirdo director that like makes really weird movies? And it was the
M. Night Shyamalan?
No, I don't know. No, it was like Brad Pitt had a pit bull in the movie. And there's a pool scene where the pit bull...
it's not a scary movie. Like One Night in Hollywood or something in Hollywood.
Yeah. But that was like just gory, I guess.
Yeah, what it was like just some hippie people that went on a killing spree. They actually killed, I think her name was Sharon Stone.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. So it was a true story. Yeah,
it's based off a true story.
Yeah.
And then Brad Pitt, like when they break in, they stab him in the leg and he throws like a can, something like a can of like corn or something at this chick's face.
Oh, yeah.
And
but
it was just like
who's
so...
that director, though?
I have no idea.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, isn't it Quentin Tarantino?
Yes.
Okay.
He's famous. I just couldn't remember. Okay. Anyways, that's a random tangent.
Yeah,
but...
it was pretty intense. So the chick gets hit in the head with a can of corn. And then he gets stabbed with the knife that he's trying to stab somebody with.
And then he
guy.
sicks his pit bull, though, on the girl, too, right?
Yeah, well, first he sicks it on the guy. The guy gets his balls, like, ripped. And then he gets, like, stabbed.
Dude.
Chick gets a can of corn chucked at her head. And then another chick comes in.
Dude, trigger warning. Sorry, this is explicit.
Then he, like, bashes this chick's head against the fireplace.
Oh, yeah, dude. I don't even know how I watched that.
And then the first chick that got the can of corn chucked at her head, like, she got the knife and was, like, running... And she like ran through this like glass thing in the back and went to the pool.
Fell into the pool.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio like roasted her with a flamethrower.
That scene was crazy. If you guys haven't seen that movie and you don't really care about gore, you should watch it. I honestly think Leonardo DiCaprio though and Brad Pitt were so good in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I didn't watch the movie. You just showed me that scene and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't see the whole thing. But I'm actually like... I'm kind of obsessed with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not going to lie.
Alrighty then.
Yep. If you guys have never seen Ocean's 11, Ocean's like 12, 13, all of them, they're freaking fire. And both of them are in that. So
Leo's
aren't they?
in those?
Oh, no, sorry. My other man, George freaking Clooney. That's who it was.
Dude, I'm on my way to look like him with my gray hairs from all the stress in my life.
Yep. Dude, I love George Clooney. Those are like my top, I would say. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Leo.
Leo's kind of grody though.
Yeah, Leo's gotten okay. Well, Brad has gotten less cute too. Brad Pitt's fire in Oceans.
I just mean that Leo, no matter how old he gets, he wants to date 18-year-old chicks.
Yeah, that is kind of kind of sus. But I'm proud of George Clooney for settling down and getting married. His wife's really cute. So
I didn't know he got married.
yep. This is what we're going to talk about today for the most part. There was an article posted recently on the Times about the Ballerina Farm, which, if you guys aren't aware, I think her name is Hannah Nealman, but they call their farm the Ballerina Farm because she went to Juilliard and was a ballerina back in the day. So, but I looked it up. Their farm's in Camas, Utah. Did you know that?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I didn't realize it was in Utah, I guess. I don't know. I just thought it was.
The only thing I know about that chick is what you told me months ago, that there are a bunch of like haters because she had a baby and then she was competing in some kind of pageant like a couple days later.
So she's like a social media influencer, homemaker, farmer. She has 8 kids. She has a newborn. And so, yeah, for a while it was super controversial because she entered a pageant and competed in the pageant. It was like 2 weeks postpartum or something.
How did she do?
She won.
Okay. So to me, honestly, like when you see her social media, does she look like she's acting like she's better than anybody else?
No, but I think there's more to her than she leads on. But of course, that's the case at social media, right?
Yeah. So are people just hating on her shine or what?
Well, just something I was talking about with my mom. Like, it's just interesting that she felt the need to do a pageant postpartum, I guess. Like, I think she had signed up for it, though, before she got pregnant. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe she got pregnant and didn't realize like it was going to be during the same time or something. I'm not sure. But just like, it does feel like maybe she needed some sort of validation to do it that quickly into postpartum. Like she could have done it another time. You know what I mean? Like it just.
Why?
Just is intense.
I mean, intense for who? She did it. So.
I mean, yeah, but I just don't know like mentally how that really was for her, you know, but who knows?
I mean, look, if she was like held at gunpoint, then like if her husband was like, hey, I want you to compete in a beauty pageant 2 weeks after you give birth. Yeah, that's like real weird.
There's no way that, in my opinion, that her husband even probably cared if she did that pageant.
Okay, well then.
I mean, I'm saying he supported her, but like, why would he push her to do that? You know what I mean?
I feel like that'd be a pretty lame thing to do, especially if it's not like something she was passionate about or I don't know. That's kind of weird. But if she just chose to do it, what I remember you telling me is that there was debate around whether it was toxic for women to view that and feel like and compare themselves to her.
Okay, let me read this to you that somebody had wrote on a Reddit forum. So this is like a coin term that everybody's saying is like a trad wife. It's like a traditional homemaker wife, whatever. They're not really trad wives. Like they're successful business women. And I say there because there's other people that they're talking about. There's like another girl who I've told you about. Her name's Nara Smith. And she married this guy, Lucky Blue Smith, who's a model. I think they're both models. And I think I might have showed you her page before, but like she makes content of like she dresses up in really like beautiful clothing and gowns that she gets from probably people that she works for, right? Like she's selling products is what I'm saying through her cooking videos.
Oh, so wait, it's cooking and she cooks in nice clothes. Yeah,
so she cooks in nice clothes. It's like this trad wife aesthetic because she's like in very like classy, modest, beautiful clothing. Just like very put together cooking, but she makes everything from scratch. Like she's made like her own gum, like her own sunscreen. Like just weird stuff that like people would never make, that whatever.
So what's the problem?
So I don't know. People are just saying that like it gives this false narrative of like a homemaker, you know, because she has like a team behind the scenes, you know, that whatever, like she has nannies and she has people helping her and it's a business at this point, you know? And so like, so they're saying Nara Smith and Hannah Nealman, the Ballerina Farm, they're saying they're successful businesswomen who bring in insane income for their families from their influencing, and in Nara's case, modeling career. They're powerful, smart, successful, and in no way financially dependent on their husbands. I think that's the irony of most trad wife influencers. They're selling this old-fashioned homemaker, stay-at-home mom lifestyle, while in reality being the primary breadwinners and providers for their family. It's completely false advertising. So I just read that on a Reddit forum, and it was just interesting to me. You know, like I'm trying to paint the picture of like what people are talking about, that it's not really like a trad wife. Thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like when you tell me things like this, I feel like I sound like a hater sometimes. I think my personality lends me to naturally being disagreeable with the majority because I'm just like, I guess I would just ask questions and like I would like question the motive of behind who's writing a New York Times piece because I don't like the New York Times. I think they're a lame newspaper. And like I just wonder like what's the spin? What's the agenda? Does this chick, Nara, whatever, say that she's a trad wife? That she submits to her husband? Or is that just the impression that she gives from wearing clothes and cooking good food? Because if she's just cooking good food and wearing clothes, then I feel like people are like projecting onto her. I guess like when I read this, and this like I hope this doesn't make me sound like a woman hater, but I feel like a lot of girls are just haters. It's like nobody's making you compare your real life to social media except you. It's definitely not husbands that are measuring and keeping score. It's a bunch of girls that are measuring and keeping score. Guys do it in their own way, but I feel like women in general really struggle with that with social media.
Well,
and like this false perception. It's like nobody's saying that. Clearly it's a brand.
Well, that makes sense to you though, because you're an entrepreneur and you're a businessman, right? And so they're talking about, okay, just think about, okay, youth that watch these videos who don't think maybe in that, you know, sphere. And they see these videos thinking that this lifestyle and what they do is attainable.
Why is it not? And what is it specifically that's not attainable? The backside of it that the newspaper said that they're successful, not dependent on their husbands, and that they have like a really nice self, like they project themselves in a nice way. Is that unattainable? Or being a trad wife that submits to their husband? Like which is it? Because I think both of them are presumptuous.
I think it's more just like an account that I follow on TikTok. He talks about, like, he goes through different celebrities and different people and talks about the downfall a lot of the time of what they're going to become and that it's false, you know? And I think it's more just like being aware and helping people realize that this is a business. This is a marketing tactic. They do have nannies a lot of the time. Like, they have a team. They're putting on a show. This isn't like they get up. It's just, this is how their life is. Like the Nara Smith girl, whatever. And so I think it's more just like talking about the youth and just maybe being more aware of, like, maybe it could be attainable if you have a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like, to have that.
Which part?
Just the team. Like I said, the image, the marketing, the having 1 million followers.
I guarantee you though, okay, like having 1 million followers, but obviously trad wife, there's a term because there are trad wives. Like there have been wives, and trad wife, that's like a new term. Honestly, to me, what it sounds like is it sounds like a bunch of granddaughters that are copying or like trying to get back to the roots of how their great grandmas lived, you know, like with learning how to can things,
well, and that's,
or being a little bit more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And what is it? I feel like this, when it comes to social media, consuming social media, I definitely think that there should be like a level of self-awareness around what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how this is an attack on femininity, which is what it feels like people are complaining about to me. Like, why is this bad?
Well, I feel like it's hating against the patriarchy more than anything.
Why?
Well, okay, but I will say this just really quick. Like, if you're unaware about the Ballerina Farm, so her husband, their family, they're billionaires. They come from just, I think I was saying his father owns
JetBlue.
JetBlue, yeah.
He's a titan in the aerospace.
Yep.
Industry.
And so I was talking about this with my sister, that like they're really evasive about their immense resources, and it comes off a little bit disingenuous.
That's what your sister said.
Yeah, just because, but I do agree with her. Like, just because they're trying to paint this lifestyle and picture of the farm life and living off of the land, which they do to an extent, but it's like they had so much money coming into it that they were able to buy a $20,000 stove, and they were able to build this incredible farm. Like, yes, Hannah Nilman has 8 children, you know, and that's insane and intense. And I'm sure they do, like, she does make probably almost everything from scratch. But it's just like the lifestyle that they paint isn't exactly what you would think, I don't know, just a farm lifestyle would be, you know? And so...
How do they know? I mean, I'm pretty sure the people that are complaining never lived on a farm. I think most of them probably didn't. And they're not hanging out on Ballerina Farms. So, like, is there a separation between her personal page and the Ballerina Farms page? And are they both branded?
So from what I understood, and a lot of people are like weirded out by, is they're saying that all of the accounts are under Ballerina Farm and that her husband owns everything. He owns the accounts, he owns the business, it's under his name. So just say, I don't know, him and his wife get divorced, they didn't have a prenup. What happens to Hannah Nilman then?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean though? Like, she is the image of the brand.
What I've learned in marketing when I was at BYU is that the logo, the thing that people associate with the brand, is the most expensive part of the brand. And so she got a divorce and he got her Instagram account. It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. It would be a hiccup, but she's the brand.
So you're saying it would take a hit because she's not a part of it anymore, right?
I would say it would be worse for him than it would for her.
Yeah. But like, you could say that maybe, I mean, who knows, she could end up with nothing.
The reason why I say that, though, is because in the class, the actual assets of the company, Coca-Cola, are worth less than the actual branding. Like, if you had to pick one of them, you would want to pick the trademarked logo and the branding. Like, that portion of it, like
the image.
The image.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So the image of it and the idea of it, the spirit of it, that is infinitely more like important.
Yeah.
And you can rebuild around the image. You could move around, like you could have a whole new operations thing on underneath the Coca-Cola, same Coca-Cola logo. People wouldn't know any different. You know, get new plants, get new formulas. It might taste a little bit different, but you just say it's a new formula. And like, the logo is worth more. And so this chick is obviously worth more. I don't buy the like, she's screwed if they get a divorce, because that's not usually the case when it comes to guys and girls getting divorces.
Well, so going back to the article, I guess it's The Times. It's not the New York Times, but are they connected? I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay. But the interview says, meet the queen of the trad wives and her 8 children. So it says, is this an empowering new model of womanhood or a hammer blow for feminism? That's how she starts it. So I do think a lot of people have come out and said, it's a woman who wrote this, that they feel like this article was really biased. And she kind of paints this picture of the husband being controlling, that he interrupts Hannah, his wife, frequently throughout the interview. And, you know, the kids are talking over her, which makes sense. She has 8 children. But we talked about this at length, and you were saying, if an interviewer came to our house, just say, and they interviewed us one night, one day, how can you fully get what their marriage looks like and their life, right? I mean, you can get maybe a glimpse, but just say the writer is biased and she's a feminist. I don't know for sure if she is, but I'm assuming so. And she's against the patriarchy and males.
If she's against males, the patriarchy, and she's a part of media, odds are she's a feminist.
Exactly. So, I mean, maybe he did interrupt her. I don't know. But I just think she had an agenda to paint him a certain way, you know?
And maybe it could just be a bad day.
Yeah,
you know?
like you said, it could have been a bad day. Like, we don't know. But yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot of weirdness. I guess they were saying that he wasn't there at one of the births, and she had all of her children at home for the most part, I believe, in like natural. And he wasn't at one of the births for the bit. It's like it was some busy business day shipping out, because they have meat, flowers, all of these things that they sell on the farm. And then whatever, it was a huge day. And so he wasn't at the hospital. She had, I think, 2 of her babies at a hospital instead of having them at home. And that was like one of the only times she had an epidural, when he wasn't there. And so they kind of, I feel like they twisted it. I don't know, but it sounded like Hannah was like nervous in the interview to talk about the epidural, almost like he didn't want her to have an epidural. And because he wasn't there, she had an epidural. So I don't know. I don't know
Maybe
if,
that is their dynamic. I don't know.
yeah. And so like I've had this discussion with you where like that, I mean, if that's the case, who knows? It would bother me a little bit though, because I do feel like there are some partners, males, that have a lot of opinions about how the baby's brought into the world or whatever, vaccinations or breastfeeding or not breastfeeding, all of these things. But it's like, yes, I understand that that's still your child, but it's the woman who has to go through everything, you know, and it's her body. And so if that was the case and he was weird about her getting an epidural, that would bother me personally, because I think she should have the choice no matter what.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I felt so much pressure to breastfeed with Noah, you know, and I think it was society, it was me, it was a lot of things, you know. But I just like want women to feel empowered to do what they feel like they can do mentally. And so that aspect is a little bit weird to me in the article, but I don't really know exactly what happened, obviously.
Honestly, I don't really have like a super strong opinion either way. The only thing that I really remember, well, it's not true. It's not the only thing I remember. The one thing that I was confused about is she made it sound like, or was it the TikTok chick that was like, that brought the church into it?
Well, I showed you a TikTok that one of the only TikToks I saw that talked about, she was an ex
Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. And she was talking about how Jehovah's Witness and the LDS Church are cult cousins and how they have so much in common. And they're both cults. They both push this narrative for women to get married young, push out babies, be a trad wife, be a stay-at-home mom, whatever. And so she was saying that's why she's in so much danger, Hannah Nilman, the Ballerina Farm, is because she has no autonomy and she's being controlled, they're saying, by her husband, and that she's trapped. But it's like, even if they don't believe in birth control, say, or abortion, which people have kind of like led to that, and that's why they've had so many children. And truly, like, it sounds like that's what they wanted. Like every 9 months she would get pregnant pretty much, like with another child. And she said they would pray and they felt like that was what was right for their family. I don't think Hannah Nilman's being pushed and forced into having 8 children. I don't. Like, she still has autonomy over her body, like, and her choices. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't like that she has no autonomy. Mm-hmm. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
On her not having autonomy?
Yeah, like that she's being brainwashed or she's being indoctrinated because she's a part of a cult.
And because she's told that she has to obey her husband?
Yeah.
I thought a lot about that when, like, after we had that conversation. And when it comes to promises that we've made, I don't remember the words ever saying, you have to obey me. It's not what's said. That's not how it goes. And that's not any kind of, we don't make that promise.
Well, the lady was like, it's in the scriptures. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is in the Bible.
I don't know.
I can't speak to that because I don't know the verse, but
I can tell you this though, saying like a blanket statement like that is not representative of the church. I don't think it is. I think it's a representative of a cultural thing. Like I swear, like every negative aspect of the church or perceived negative aspect of the church, I feel like I blame it on boomers. I don't have an issue with boomers, but I do think it's a generational thing. Like I do think that like my grandma is probably a little bit more meek in her relationship towards her husband than maybe you are to me.
But that's also could be a personality though.
Maybe, but I think that
depending on the person.
I don't get that feeling. Like I think that personality definitely plays a role in it, but I also think that it's a cultural thing more so than a church thing. Because I can't think of a single Sunday school lesson where they told you that you have to listen to me, because if they did, I would have remembered it. I told you had to listen to me.
Oh my gosh. Well,
make my life easier sometimes, like when it came to choosing what we're going to DoorDash.
Oh gosh.
Instead of having to pick Taco Bell each time. Or Cafe Rio.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just think that I hate this narrative of like women being indoctrinated and brainwashed their entire life to obey their husband or like bow down to him or I don't
Do you feel
know.
like most girls your age would agree that they feel obligated to obey their husband?
I don't think so. I feel like most of my friends would say they respect their husband as a partner and as their husband, as a patriarch, as a provider of their family, a yin and yang or whatever you want to call it. But it's not like I answer to my husband and whatever he says, I do. It's like, no.
I don't know very many women that way.
And you knew I wasn't like that. I've never been like that. And I was not indoctrinated or brainwashed my entire life to believe that. Maybe you could say I grew up thinking that the family is sacred and I wanted to get married because that was pushed upon me to do so. Sure. Did I think getting married young was fine? Yeah, probably, because
we didn't get married young.
I know, I'm just saying, but like I looked at it thinking it was probably fine because I grew up thinking, and saw a lot of people getting married young. And to a lot of people outside of Utah, they'd think that was crazy, right? And so, yeah, there's some cultural things, like you said, that are different maybe than other states or other religions. But like, I don't know. I literally never would have married somebody who I had to answer to. And I didn't feel like I had a voice. And I couldn't stand up for myself when it comes to childbirth and how I feed my child, or I don't know, beholden to him. I don't know. I just don't like the picture that they painted in this article of Daniel, her husband, that he's like, has this power over her and she just has no autonomy. I don't believe that. I bet she likes her life. She has a nice life. Like I think they're gonna be billionaires. They're heirs to their fortune, whatever, the dad and his fortune. And so they're well off. I'm sure her life is probably really difficult and really hectic and crazy, but she kind of chose that, right? I mean, but it just bothers me when people are saying that she had no choice in it. She did. And she does. And I'm sure she chose to be a mom of 8 kids and she probably likes it. Someday she probably hates it. But
I bet you more people than you realize would pick to be married to a handsome future billionaire and have a really nice looking life. I feel like a lot of people would trade places with her.
Well, that's what people are saying on TikTok, though. They're saying when you marry for money, you pay for it later. You got to work for that money. Like, that girl's putting in the work because he expected her to be this way. He expected her to be this hot pageant queen that's, popping out these children and being the mother of the year and all this crap.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like most chicks that marry for money get exactly what they want. Like they pay for it.
A
maybe
lavish
by
lifestyle?
A lavish lifestyle. Like maybe they...
But they're saying they pay for it. Like, I've seen that TikTok, like a lot of TikToks, people saying that.
It seemed like they married for love to me.
Yeah, I mean, they got married young. And that's the thing, though. They say that she was coerced sort of into getting married because he pretty much asked her to kind of give up on the Juilliard dream and stop being a ballerina to get married. And they had a kid like 3 months later after they got married. She was super, super young.
You mean they were pregnant or they had a kid 3 months after they got married?
No. I believe they got pregnant after they got married. 3 months after they got married. They got pregnant. Sorry. So I'm saying she went straight into motherhood, gave up her Juilliard dream. And so people are saying that she's living his dream. Because in the article, she said, this was never my dream. To live on this farm, to do all this. I don't consider myself a trad wife. Like, she likes it, I think. But she kind of came across like this is his dream that we're living. But I don't think that she hates it. She probably misses Juilliard and like wishes she probably could have done that. But she still chose to marry him, I think. Right? Like, I don't know. Like you said, it was for love. I don't know. Maybe she felt like it was the right thing.
I don't know. If she didn't have a say in this whole business thing that they're doing together, that's a real bummer. Because I feel like part of the beautiful aspect of building something with someone you love is getting to build something with someone that you love that you feel like you both have creative control over, like what we're doing with this podcast.
Well, I mean, I could say that about you, right? I could say, Zunek's pest control was Josh's dream.
Except it wasn't. I've never planned on being a pest control company owner. Like, if you would have told me that when I was like a little boy, never would have came into my mind.
I know, but I'm saying for maybe a couple years in the making, it's been your dream to have your own business. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah. I feel like it was more like I wanted to build something.
Yeah. But we've talked about this before. Like, relationships and marriage is never going to be 50-50. Ever. Like, at one time. You wish it could be, right? That it's perfectly equal. No. Like, maybe right now, this is your dream, okay? And I'm supporting you, right? And maybe, like, now starting with the podcast, maybe this is my dream, right? And we're doing it. Or later on, maybe you'll have a different dream and I'm going to be able to do that. Like, Do you know what I'm saying? It's the give and take.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay in supporting you and doing that because it's cool to me to see you live that out, and you're doing an incredible job at it. And I love to see that. Has it been really hard and really taxing on both of us? Yes. But I wouldn't change it, you know? And I think it's so cool what you've built. And so it just makes me sad that like people are painting this picture. Like Hannah Nillman, she probably feels that way, that like, look what we've built. Like maybe this was never my dream per se, but I'm sure she's really like astounded by what they've been able to do together. Like they just got
She probably likes it.
Yeah.
I don't know of a single influencer that doesn't like the attention that they get. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably hard in a way because you're scrutinized. Like I'm sure right now, all of the articles they're probably reading and hearing about themselves probably sucks a little bit, right? That her husband's
Maybe.
being painted like a devil husband that's controlling and psycho. Yeah, that would suck. But I'm just saying, I think the good probably outweighs the bad. Like I just watched a video of them, like they just built a new barn and they got a bunch of new cows. And like, I could tell that Hannah was super excited about that. Like they've been working super hard to grow their farm. Right. And so I'm just saying like people act like she hates her life and that it's so hard. And I just think, yeah, it probably is, but I still think that she
This
likes
is
it.
from spending an afternoon there and interviewing them. I feel like it's, you literally never know. Like I was saying the other day, it would not be uncommon if we had somebody coming over and you just like were having a really hard day. There have been times where you've told me like, hey, I just need you to kind of handle it.
Yeah.
And kind of put on the show. You never know. Maybe that was like a situation that happened. I bet you if you have 8 kids, you're probably pretty freaking tired. And maybe maybe both of you don't have the same amount of energy at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and she talks about, like, I guess she had admitted, or no, maybe he was the one who said this, her husband, that at times, like, Hannah gets so exhausted that she'll lay in bed for like a week at a time. And I think that was super controversial because they're like, obviously her mental health's not okay if she can't handle it. Because they're saying, if you're a billionaire, why can't we have a nanny? Because he doesn't want nannies in the home. Like they have a teacher, like a homeschool teacher, and they have a staff a little bit for like the farm, but they don't have a nanny like helping her. And so they talk about how like the kids probably are raising each other and that like if she's that exhausted, they should probably have a nanny. But who knows his reason? I don't know. I don't know why they don't want a nanny. Maybe it's both of them don't want a nanny. Who knows? It might not just be the husband's like, absolutely not. You're not going to get a nanny. I don't know. So anyway, that was controversial because they were like, he should hire a nanny, but who knows?
I don't know. I don't really want a nanny either for our kids, but more so than anything, I just don't like than a nanny. Like I just don't want there to be any kind of replacement between like emotional connection between us and our kids. I think maybe the reason why I feel slightly opinionated about this is it's not because you and I are going to be billionaires, but we are going to get to a point in our life where we make enough money where we could decide if we want to do certain things or not want to do certain things. Like,
but who are we to judge like them not wanting to do something? It couldn't be a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah. And if this guy is heir to $1 billion, maybe they're just trying to make something for themselves. You know, it seems like that might be the case. I don't understand like the negativity. I feel like most feminists that I know are angry and bitter sometimes. And I feel like there's 2 different types of feminists, like women that just want to be treated equally. I don't know anybody that disagrees with that. And if they do, they're wrong. But man hating, on the other hand, is something different. And I feel like those 2 things, you can be treated equally. There can be equalness amongst us without having to hate on dudes.
No, I agree. Another thing they had brought up in the article is that like she wanted, like she's been asking to go to Greece, I guess, like for a trip for a really, really, really long time. And they've never gone to Greece. I don't know. And instead of getting tickets to Greece, she thought he was like going to get that gift that year. He got her like an apron or something.
That's lame.
Yeah. And she like, I guess in the video you can tell she's like super disappointed. And so like, I think people really are just, they don't like him. Like they just think he could do better. But
maybe he could. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
I don't know. Look, you put your life
so
out there like that, it's going to happen where people are going to have an opinion.
It's true.
I don't agree in general with like a default position of being disagreeable towards a certain sex, like men in general, but it's totally possible that this guy just sucks. We don't know though.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's super easy to cast stones about kids being annoying and interrupting their mom when you don't have kids. And to judge a marriage if you're not married, you know.
I mean,
like,
who knows? Like the lady, I have no idea if she has children or is married. So who knows?
Kind of switching gears, but staying on the same topic. How do you feel about like our dynamic?
Like as male and female, or in our marriage, or what do you mean?
Both.
I mean,
And I want this to be said real fast. I did not brainwash my wife.
or he didn't tell me.
She wouldn't listen to me, so.
You didn't tell me what to say before we started recording this episode.
I don't know what you're. I mean, I feel like I have an. I feel like you and I are pretty aligned on things, but no.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So it was actually really cool when I was talking with my therapist about being an Enneagram 4. Like in the synopsis of it, it talks about how Enneagram 4s like search for their one true love someday, like because they're the romantic type, you know. Mm-hmm. I guess it just like really hit home for me, thinking about, like, this probably sounds cheesy, but I don't care, that like I truly feel like I found somebody that I love, and that, I don't know, it's just my person. And I feel super lucky that way. Doesn't mean that we have, you know, struggles and things that are hard, of course, you know, but it's like, it's weird when you have this dream and it becomes a reality, but not exactly what you thought, but it's almost better than you thought. Like there's some things that I didn't maybe picture in my own life. Our dynamic, I feel like, is better than I thought that I would have.
What did you think you'd have, and what do you have?
Just even thinking about this article, I feel like, I think maybe some women could be scared of that. Like just having a husband that's mean, or I guess it could go either way. I mean, maybe males feel that way too, but just like somebody who is not, like, I guess not trustworthy or loyal or kind, I guess. But also somebody that has my back and would go to war for me, would kill someone for me, like would do anything for me. But I also feel the same, you know? And I feel like I've had this discussion with you before where I feel like we both are givers, and, you know, I have dated people that are more of lean towards on the side of like a taker. And I feel like I've had a really hard time with that, just because I felt like I would do anything for that person and it wasn't always reciprocated, you know? Mm-hmm. And I always felt like I deserved that. And I think everybody does deserve that, you know? And especially when you really are giving so much to the relationship, you know? And the reason why it's better than I thought is because it's not completely traditional. I do think like we have some of the traditional roles, like because I'm a stay-at-home mom, I take care of most of the housework and those types of things. But I do feel like it's more of a partnership in the fact that like you let me have a voice and you listen to what I want to. And it's not just like what we were just talking about, I guess, where like the woman just does what the husband wants her to do and doesn't speak up or whatever, you know? And I just am glad that like you saw me as a person before we dated and you liked that, like about me, that I had passion in my heart and soul, and that like I had an opinion. You know, maybe sometimes it's hard, right? Because I can be intense and we both can be intense. And so that can be difficult, but I also think it can be really cool because we can build things together and we can push together and really like make something for ourselves. Like you said, that the Ballerina Farm's doing, like, and maybe they're so misunderstood, right? And who knows, like maybe that is the dream for them. They wanted to build their family and their life, and they have. And I think that's super cool. And we don't know everything, but I respect that, you know? And yes, they came from money and it's a different type of life than other people have had, I'm sure. But But yeah, I do think like we're balanced. I mean, there's some things maybe that at times can be off balance because we're still building a business and it's intense, you know. But I don't know if that answers your question, but like I'm really happy with like my choice and our marriage, and it's not perfect, but it's ours and it's really cool. And I know that you love me and like you're loyal to me and you would do anything for me and our family, and that means like more than anything to me, that we have each other's back no matter what. So
That's nice.
how do you feel about our marriage and our partnership, and like, I guess comparing it to the Ballerina Farm?
So comparing it to like the perception of what people are
That's
thinking.
the thing. It's like, we don't know them, you know, how can you really compare? But
I don't know. I did not want a wife that was just a people pleaser. I feel like my Enneagram type 8 gets really frustrated with people pleasers because I feel like they're not genuine. Which to people pleasers out there, I'm sorry if that offends you. Because I feel like I can empathize with people pleasers, because there's been times in my life where I feel like I've been a people pleaser in some ways.
and I have too.
Like I think everybody is that, like that, can be like that.
Yeah.
But I just don't really like where that comes from in me, like where I'm like wanting to be submissive. I just don't like that default. Like I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't know if respect it is the right way. You read it, like about my thing where it said that, and you're like, that's totally you. And it affected how I dated. Like there were girls that I dated that were super, super nice, like too nice, which is a dumb thing to say, because it may have been like a relationship like that where they just kind of did what I wanted them to do. But I don't like that. I want my partner to have a voice. I want to feel equally yoked. And I liked that side of you. I recognized that side of you very early on in our dating, and it was part of why I wanted to date you. You know, so I don't feel like that, like as a man, that you have to like obey me, even though I joke about it, like joke about how it would be fun.
It might be easier.
It might be
right?
easier sometimes.
Yeah. But I think it would be boring for you.
It would be boring for me. I do think in some aspects of life, I'm probably more decisive in some ways.
Yeah.
You can be super decisive as well. But just like the joking about it, like it's not serious. I'm really happy with our marriage dynamic. I'm happy with our life. I feel like we're kind of pushing through this glass ceiling where there's like been layers of our life where our marriage was a certain kind of way, like how it was in the very beginning. It was like brand new, super exciting because it was brand new.
But hard to navigate.
Because we were living with my parents at the time, and then we figured out a place to live, and then we were starting a business, and then you were pregnant. We
moved to a new place.
Yeah, we moved to a new state where you didn't really know anybody.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to be there because I didn't want to be in Seattle. But I felt like we needed to be there, like because we prayed about it and we got that impression. And then I'm gone because I'm teching houses or I'm selling. Like there's so many different layers of our life, and I've loved every single one of them. I feel like because of our dynamic, it always feels like I'm doing it with my best friend. And there's like, it really does kind of feel like you're having a sleepover with your best friend, like each night, you know, where sometimes like quality time could be as simple as watching a stupid show together, you know, or having a deeper conversation like we're having right now, which is I think probably my favorite part about the podcast is it feels like a date night because we're just having really long conversations. But it was like a really long, drawn-out answer, but I love our dynamic. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. Well, there you guys go.
Marriage dynamics, Ballerina Farms, and Halloween.
Yep. It was a good topic. I really enjoyed it, and it's been on my mind a lot because I just went down that rabbit hole of the Ballerina Farm stuff. But yeah, thanks so much for listening, and we love you guys, and thanks so much for the support, and just continue to subscribe, rate, review, support us.
Share the podcast.
Yep.
Share the podcast with people that you might think, might think what we're saying is interesting, I guess. I still feel like there's not a lot of LDS couples that talk about normal life and don't make it completely about church. I feel like it's like you know, there's not a lot within the niche. So, but there's a lot of LDS couples out there that I feel like could relate to us.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks so much, guys, and welcome to the zoo.